Evening, and welcome to our options evening, where tonight we're going to show a few slides, and we're going to share all the information we hopefully think that you should need to support our students and your children to make the correct choices for their future in Key Stage 4. So first of all, if we could I just ask, I can't actually move the slide on, I've not got control. Okay, so if we start with our pathways, so at the Hyndburn Academy we use 3 pathways. So we use EBAC, open and guided pathways, and what we're trying to do each year is to really ensure that we tailor this and we make it relevant to that group of students, that cohort of students, to really give them the best opportunity to select the options that they want to select. Now it's really difficult to ensure that everybody gets all of the options that they want. That is a really difficult thing because obviously we have some constraints in terms of like staffing, in terms of options available, etc. But where possible, we try to get students the options that they would like moving forward into Key Stage 4. And we try to ensure that students are able to access the courses. So we don't try to set students up for failure. Knowing the students, I think at the Hyndburn Academy, we know our students really well. And we work with our students over the course of Key Stage 3 to ensure that we know them as well as possible and try to guide them onto courses that we know they can have success in, and that's really important to us. Now, as you know, I have starred the EBAC because this year, rather than just the EBAC being aimed at students within the top sets, as we would normally look to do, we normally put the students in the top sets in maths and English. What I've tried to do is really offer it to those students that I know have got a real interest in Spanish. And not only have got a real interest in Spanish, in the background I've then spoken to the teachers of Spanish to ensure that the students are able to access and gain success within Spanish. So what I've tried to do there with the EBAC this year is to provide that to students that that can study Spanish and really ring fence that for them so they can go on to that course. In the open pathway, students get the biggest choice. Most students fall into the open pathway, where even though they're in the open pathway, they are still able to choose, if they want to, the EBAC courses. They are still able to choose the more academic courses of geography and history. They're still able to choose Spanish if they change their mind. And then in the third bucket, in bucket C, they then get the option of the open options, such as dance and sport and art, etc. And then the guided choice is for a small cohort of students that we feel as a school, we're supporting them to access courses that we know they can have success in, and the group of students that we particularly feel the vocational routes are better for in terms of gaining success and being able to access them level 3s and moving on into education in the future. Thank you. We'll move on. So we do have core subjects that all students have to study at the Hyndburn Academy as part of United Learning as well. So we've got English, Maths and Science. Students do core PE, and this year for this cohort there will be a core subject of RE, so all students within year 10 will study RE as a short course option. In terms of science, in the past we have offered science as a triple science option. We're no longer doing that at the Hyndburn Academy. Instead, all students follow science, and then dependent on the set that students are in, we then guide them towards triple science or combined science. Now, the reason we do this is because if students choose, or in the past where they have chosen triple science to be part of one of their options, they're pretty limited then in terms of moving should they not be succeeding, not getting the types of success that they would wish for in triple science. Whereas now, as a core subject, it's similar to mathematics, where in maths they access either the higher paper or the foundation paper, and there is that fluidity in science now where students, should they need that bit of support or should combined science be better for them, we are able to move students through the pathways, through the science pathways, to ensure that we get the right balance for them as students, as individuals. Core PE, we are looking to ensure that students, and try to ring fence that students get 100 minutes of core PE over the fortnight. And that's one of the reasons why we've moved down to the 3 option blocks. and also to support the introduction of RE as a short course, where RE over the 2 weeks, students will study 100 minutes of RE. Thank you. Okay, so as part of our options process this year, I actually asked the students using a Microsoft form to just tell me what they were interested in. So I gave them all the options that we could potentially run here at the Hyndburn Academy. And then I used that to see what courses students were in. Now that allowed me then to build the blocks, the A block, the B block and the C block. And I'll show you these later on in the presentation. That was my starting point, really, to ensure that I got the vast majority of students to fit within those 3 blocks. Now, obviously, as part of that, students have then gone on a pathway, and it was an opportunity for me to build that curriculum. And as part of that, I think the most important thing that comes out of that is that then we look at what capacity have we got, what capability have we got to run the most popular courses. Obviously, there's no point us running a course if students are not interested in that. And students in different year groups have different. There are courses that are more popular with some year groups that aren't as popular with other year groups. And also that allows us to fully include students into their options. So I can look at that already. I can see which types of options students are most likely to choose based on what they've already shown an interest in. So hopefully we'll get most of our students to be able to study their first options, what they've chosen first as a first preference, and that is really important to us. So students feel happy and secure in their courses and happy to make the success ready for their future. Okay, so these are the option blocks. So as you can see, we have 3 routes. We have the EBAC, the open and the guided routes. And if we just use the EBAC first of all on the left hand side, in block A, if students are on the EBAC route, they can choose between geography and history. In block B, these are the students, like I said previously, these are the students that I've put into the EBAC this year that have shown an interest in Spanish, and that has been verified by their teacher to say yes, they are suitable for Spanish, in terms of yes, they can access the course, yes, they should be able to make a real go of it and get success in Spanish. And then we've got block C, which, as you can see, spans across the 3 option blocks, because those are the courses that are accessible to all students. Ideally, I'd be able to have different option blocks that have the same courses, but unfortunately, due to staffing, due to funding, due to all the other aspects of the timetable further down the school, we are only able to offer certain blocks to certain subjects into certain blocks. As you can see in the middle route, on the open route, students can access more subjects, and in there not only have you got the more academic subjects like in the EBAC course, geography and history, you have also got more vocational subjects such as digital IT and travel and tourism. And then in block B, I have still included Spanish, just in case students that initially didn't show an interest have had a bit of a change of heart in that respect. But as well as that, you have again got the more vocational courses, child development and health and social care, and then we've got product design, which is a GCSE subject. And then on the guided route, students on the guided route, they are guided to choose subjects that we know students generally have real good success in. Subjects where students, they are more vocational, which are heavily coursework based, and students are able to access them, but also support students to access those courses later in their education at level 3, and they can move on to level 3s in travel and tourism and health and social care, etc. Or they can choose other level 3 courses should they be successful in those courses. And again, on all three routes, students are able to choose any of the options in block C at the bottom. Thank you. Okay, so really this is just a bit of information really for us to support students and for you to support your child at home on reasons why not to pick a subject. And this is really easy. It's really easy for us to say this as adults, but obviously as students, as 13, 14-year-olds that are picking a subject, it is easy to be swayed by what other people are doing, and really it's just to sell the message that this is something that will support them for life. So reasons not to pick it are if the friend has chosen it, because it's not what the friends are going to do. And as we know as adults, you don't always follow the same path as your friends. If they think it will be an easy subject, if somebody else thinks they should do it, one of the friends or somebody else at home or one of the teachers are trying to sway them into a certain route because they're good in the class, obviously it's got to be something that they're really interested in. Again, if you like the teacher, because that's not always going to be the case, just because you like a particular teacher in a subject doesn't mean that that will be the teacher that teaches you next year on that course. And if you just picked it because you didn't do any research, I would stress that students should use this week to really listen to the teachers, to ask those questions, to read the options booklet, to have those conversations with parents and carers at home regarding what's the best option for them moving forwards to support them to get towards the career that they're most interested in the future. Thank you. Definite reasons to pick a subject. Obviously, the most important thing I would say is if a subject is interesting to that student and they have the ability to access the course. If you've got an interest and you can access a course, you're more likely to be successful in that course. Definitely if at Key Stage 3, if it's been a course that you've followed at Key Stage 3, or it's linked to a course that you've followed at Key Stage 3, if you're good at it and when you look at the units available or the subjects that are going to be taught within it, and you think, oh, I'm interested in those and I think I'll enjoy those, then that's a definite reason to choose it. Definitely if it links well with your other choices. So if you're looking for a particular pathway, if you're looking for a particular career in the future and it links well with those choices to work towards that career, then it's definitely a good idea to do that. Like I've said just then about your career idea, if you're looking to go into the travel industry, if you're looking to become a travel agent, for example, well then travel and tourism might be the thing for you. If you're looking to do a history degree at university or you're not sure but you're really interested in history, then obviously that will support you to access lots of careers in the future. You think you might want to study it in the future at post 16. So if you're interested in going down the travel route and you know there's a course at level 3 at college, then I would recommend that you try to get into that at level 2. So you've got that base knowledge that then you can build on at level 3. And also, if you don't know what you want to do as a career, then it's really important that you pick subjects that you both enjoy and you know you're good at already. You already know, don't you, by the end of Key Stage 3 most of the time what you're good at. You know whether you're better at geography or history. You know whether you're quite able at IT, if you've done that in your technology lessons, etc., etc. So it's really important to pick those subjects that you enjoy so that you're more likely to be engaged in the subject, more likely to be interested in the content of the subject, and therefore more likely to be successful and do well. Thank you. So how do we make our choices moving forward? How are students given the opportunity to make their choices? So each child will receive an email to their school email on Friday, and this will be a link to a Microsoft form, which is a really simple process. Prior to completing that form, please support the children, please support our students to read the options booklet, to tell them everything about the course. If they know that they do really well in classwork, but they really struggle when it comes to exams, well then think about the courses, because some courses are more geared towards coursework, where other courses are more terminal examinations right at the end, where they just sit 100% examination, and that's going to be really important. Again, like I stressed earlier, students should really use this opportunity to speak to subject teachers. All subject teachers this week have been asked to speak to students about the course available, either at the start or at the end of lessons, to give a bit of a presentation on what each course entails, and use that opportunity, whether you ask in class with your hand up and just ask that question as part of that, or if a student stays behind at the end to speak to the teacher and just ask them about the course. That's a really valuable insight, really, to get them to understand whether it's suitable for them, etc. And yes, I would recommend that. Students will receive that email as part of the Microsoft form, like we said earlier. The most important thing I will stress is it's really important that students choose both a first and a second preference where relevant. Some students won't get the opportunity to choose a second preference. There might only be one preference, or they might have been guided to a course, but where possible, please choose a first and second preference, because it may be that unfortunately there's low numbers wanting to follow a particular course. It might not be viable for us to lead that course and to run that course, and that's when we will go to a second preference, and students will then get on a course that they're still interested in, even if it wasn't their first option. We don't really want to direct students to courses that they've got no interest in. That's not something we try to do here at the Hyndburn Academy. It's really important they submit that form by the 25th of March, because that's when we'll start to build the groups, build the blocks, and know what we can and can't run as a school. And if students come late and they've not submitted that form, well then who knows whether the option will be available still to them, etc. Because it might be that unfortunately, had they submitted it on time, we might have been able to run that option, but because they've not, it might be real low numbers. And then as a school, we will confirm those options, confirm the options that we've provided to your child by the 11th of May via letter. Okay, so as part of this options week, what we're doing is we're offering the opportunity for you to get a one-to-one session. So tomorrow evening, as part of this, our senior leadership team, students have been divided between our senior leadership team, where you can book on the School Cloud to make a one-to-one appointment. So any questions you've got following this, anything where you just need a bit of advice and guidance, anything about your particular student, your particular child, you can discuss that with a member of the senior leadership tomorrow evening, and you're able to still book on and make an appointment using the link at the bottom, hyndburn.schoolcloud.co.uk, and those appointments will take place between 5 and 7 p.m. tomorrow. So hopefully that's enough time for you to get on, and those times are suitable. If they're not suitable, which isn't the case for everybody, please don't worry about that. Please just drop me an email at the school at my email address, or ring the school, and if I'm not available, I will give you a call back for that conversation. Okay, thank you. And finally, any questions? Miss Hinchcliffe has been in the background, just helping and supporting tonight. And if we get any questions that have come through. No, Miss Hinchcliffe, have we got any questions? Can't see any on the screen at the moment. Please, if you do have any questions, please just type them into the conversation at the top on the right hand side, like the speech bubble. Okay. If there aren't any questions, then thank you for attending this evening. I hope I've supported you to have a bit of a better understanding regarding our options process. If there is anything else, please drop me an email. So my email is jamesdelve@hyndburnacademy.org.uk. And if not, if you've still got any issues, then like I've said previously, those School Cloud appointments are still open for you to attend tomorrow. But thank you for joining this evening. Thank you for giving your time, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.